Hello, citizens and non-citizens of Miller's Planet. Welcome back if you're returning. If not, welcome to the channel. I have got a great video for you. Today we're going to be diving deep into the world of free energy claims. A couple days ago, I got this message from this fella, and he left me a comment about a guy named Gerard Moraine. He messaged me about how Gerard in this one video was pulling off some free energy wizardry. So I visited this guy Gerard's channel, and Gerard has a bunch of videos on his channel where he talks about unique stuff. After what I saw, I immediately became compelled to make this video. So this first video I want to show you is called Free Energy, The Embarrassing Truth, or on Gerard's channel, it's called The Doubt About Over Unity is Over. I'm sorry if it kind of looks like I'm jumping between cuts. This guy, Gerard, does not edit any of his videos at all, and half of the video is just them walking around the garage, and I thought that would get pretty boring for some people, so I just left in the important parts. So let's go ahead and get started with this first one.
His name is Roman. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
I'm the co-director of the Maths and Physics Academy of the New Earth Nation, which is a platform that wants to bring new information for the people and just get the new Earth ready, like a new information, new paradigm.
That sounds like a cult. Getting the new Earth ready? A little weird.
And develop new ideas around this new concept of cold electricity.
Okay, so he's done introducing himself. What the hell is his job? And where does he work? TheNewEarth.org. They need a physicist? But what would his job be? Just kind of getting new physics? I don't know, maybe I'll do some research on it later.
So my input for everybody, and I don't want to have any more question, my input is 4 horsepower.
So if you want to follow along with what they're plugging in, the energy source is going to be a 4 horsepower. I think he says diesel later. I'm not sure. It's just a generator. So what he's doing is he's going to take this power source, plug it into a step up and then a step down transformer, and then that output is going to go to 4 other appliances. And he claims that if he doesn't blow this 30 amp fuse on his generator and the appliances work, then it's some kind of miracle.
A blessing from the Lord.
So you have to have a mover to start an electricity. Doesn't matter if it's moving parts, non-moving parts, you have to give something into it. It's no such thing as free energy.
So he's saying that you got to give something in, no such thing as free energy, but that's kind of what he's trying to prove, is that there's some kind of like universal untapped power. This is what he calls cold fusion or cold radiation.
Cold radiation.
That's kind of like the theme of this video, is him trying to prove that all of this magical stuff that's happening, it's happening because cold radiation is involved, which I don't know what the hell that is supposed to mean. I guess let's watch the video and find out.
We have 1500 watts, 1450 watts, 1450, 1500 watts, 1500 watts the next one. So we already know my machine cannot run that.
So they're saying their load is 6,000 watts.
6,000 watts. 6,000 watts of load.
So what we do, we bring the power, we hook it up to only one side of this transformer. We hook it up to this transformer, and this is a 50 kVA can. All right, that's 50,000 watt.
So that's the step-up transformer that he's plugging in, I'm assuming.
And we're producing high voltage, but the conversion goes to cold radiation. The amperage coming up at high voltage produces cold radiation. The temperature really drops off more than normal. And as we're going to hook up the system, the radiation was going to lower down because we're using radiation. It's got fluctuation of radiation. And that's normal because radiation is your energy, not amperage.
What the fuck, man? What is that supposed to mean? So he's looking at this transformer and he's thinking, oh, this thing does not run off of amperage, it runs off of cold radiation. Do you think when he says radiation that he means like electromagnetic radiation, like light waves, like radio waves? Does this guy think that transformers are just antennas?
We are totally wrong when it comes to amperage. It's volts and radiation only will make things move. Activate the scan, it will produce a very high volt with cold radiation. Dump it into this gun, which is 25 25,000 watts.
So that is the step-down transformer. I'm guessing. I'm guessing he's using a step-down transformer because you can't just put 14,000 volts into appliances. That would be very bad. So let's see what happens when he starts running this thing.
Shut down, but I'm still running it. Right now I'm over and I'm not blowing the fuse, and we're maintaining a flow. But this is a bipolar generator. It doesn't run on air. It runs on cold radiation.
He's still taking temperature readings. He's just going around. What does that prove? I don't get what a cold reading because it's cold. It's running because it's cold. I don't know. I don't know.
If it's going to stop one of them,
Okay, I'm gonna release some of the radiation back to the can.
This part's important. He's saying that he's going to send some radiation back to the can. He's turning one of the appliances off, and because he turns one of the appliances off, there's more amperage going to the other appliances, so it immediately gets louder. And he thinks that something magical is happening, and let's watch.
Back to the can. Look at the temperature drop.
minus the negative temperature increase.
So immediately after he turns off that one appliance, you can hear the other three appliances start ramping up in power, which probably means that you're running your appliances at the lowest possible power that they can operate at. This next part is very funny to me.
Early none. Come in. I want you to see it. How can I run this? Flip it on here now. You won't be able to see an amp. It's radiation. And the other one?
It's cold radiation. And then the guy says, hey, measure the other one, and he just goes and measures the same one again. Hey man, if you love radiation so much, why don't you marry it? This guy kind of reminds me of, have you guys ever played Fallout 3? Kind of reminds me of Confessor Cromwell, that guy that stays around the bomb in Megaton.
Your suffering shall exist no longer. It shall be washed away in atom's glow.
We have a problem with calculation because the system doesn't really work with them. It works. That's my radiation level. This is a Geiger counter in a closed loop. All you read is radiation.
It's, that's not a Geiger counter, that's a multimeter. And even if it was a Geiger counter, wouldn't that be a little concerning? Like, why is this transformer giving off radiation while it runs? Should I be getting myself somewhere safe? Am I going to get cancer from this? Just a thought.
Now this generator has no brush. It's a brushless generator. And we're not putting, because that's called bipolar. It creates radiation in a certain level and push straight radiation and voltage into the unit. And your whole house, you will never burn a light bulb after that, period, because radiation do not burn.
Radiation do not burn? Does that mean I don't have to use sunscreen every time I leave the house? I've been doing it this whole time for no reason.
Our electricity we have from the coming up in our system is got a really sharp end, which sharp ends is heat on your wave.
All jokes aside, what the hell did he just say? He didn't, that didn't mean anything. Let's just go back to what he said. Hold on.
It creates radiation in a certain level. Push straight radiation and voltage.
Straight radiation voltage.
You will never burn a light bulb.
Whole house never burn a light bulb.
Period. Sharp ends is heat on your wave.
Heat. Sharp ends are heat on your wave. He's like doing his victory lap in front of these two guys now. He's like, did you see that? Wasn't that so cool? Radiation power homes because of sharp edges. Also, radiation don't burn. So those are the benefits. He doesn't seem to like form coherent thoughts, and these guys are just kind of like eating it up. They're not saying anything. They're not like, hey, you might be wrong. I would be saying something because that just seems insane. And these guys are just like,
yep, that seems right. I guess I'll just keep listening to what you're saying.
So I can only put so much radiation in those cans. It takes a while to fill up. They're just like a tank of gas. You got to fill up the radiation. When you kind of fill radiation, you have output.
You gotta fill up the radiation? Do you see why this is so funny to me? That's a transformer. How do you think a transformer works, my guy? Does he think a transformer is like a radiation storage unit?
There's 90% of this energy that can be recycled and used, which is again another proof that we can generate over unity, and over unity is here.
Over unity? What the hell is over unity? Oh, free energy. How convenient.
And it has been hidden from us since more than 100 years. If you have a little bit of humanity left in your soul, you will try to do something to bring this knowledge out. Prove us wrong. Just prove us wrong. And why those energy companies knows about it. We are giving them our money. We're giving them our power. And what they do with that? They just keep the money, corrupt the whole system.
This guy is bought into every single thing that this guy has tried to sell him. Like, oh, what's that? Voltage and amperage are unrelated to electricity completely?
And were made up by the world government in order to control us, so that we would have to use their regular electricity with, like, rules and stuff? Yeah, I'm on board.
Look, I would imagine if you didn't really know anything about like chemistry or physics or engineering, if this guy walked up to you and was like, hey, you want to see something cool?
Get into my van.
And then started showing you all this stuff and then started explaining it in sciencey sounding terms, you'd be kind of tempted to agree with him, especially if he was promising you free energy. I mean, sure, I'd love a cold radiation free energy device in my backyard so I can finally fire up my time machine and go back to a time before I had 7 kids. I mean, these kids are driving me insane.
Daddy, I just peed my pants. Can you please wipe me?
No, Ronald. Can you please get Egg McMuffin Jr. to wipe you? But, unfortunately, the world does not operate in that way. Those 3 heaters were probably operating at the lowest wattage they could possibly operate at. That is why when you unplugged one of them, the other 3, you could hear them ramp back up. Also, that saw you were using probably wasn't drawing any kind of significant current, because there was no load on the motor. The power was probably buffered by the step-up transformer, or the current was at least. Step-up transformers lower the current significantly on the output, which is probably why the 30 amp fuse didn't blow up. Who knows if that was even a 30 amp fuse? Who knows if this whole thing wasn't faked in some weird elaborate way? Not that it was like so outlandish that it would need some huge elaborate hoax. This guy has a lot of videos. They're all great. But I kind of feel bad for this guy. I'm not saying like, oh, this guy is such an idiot. I feel so bad for him. I'm just saying like, no one really corrected this weird behavior early. And everyone on the internet just kind of looks like he's growing like a fan base. And no one's really calling him out. I don't know. Well, someone definitely had to call him out because most of his videos' comments are disabled. But I guess he just doesn't listen to it. I don't know. I'm not trying to like roast the guy. It's just funny to me that like so many of these channels are spreading lies on YouTube when none of their evidence has been substantiated. So Gerard Morin, if you ever see this, you probably won't because you haven't been active for 2 years, but free energy does not exist. In conclusion, you should find some friends that actually correct you. You should find an actual source and you should just listen to them. Listen to what they're saying. Take in the real information. Well, I think that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have seen any weird, wacky, free energy videos on YouTube and you want me to take a look at it, feel free to leave a link down in the comments. I would love to make another one of these videos. Okay, bye-bye.